K2 is perhaps the most challenging peak in the world. Standing at 8,611 meters, 28,251 feet. Climbers looking for the ultimate challenge have long been drawn to K2, which is tucked away in the Karakoram Range and crosses the Pakistan-China border. But it's the sheer peril of trying to reach the top that makes it legendary, not simply its height. Known as the Savage Mountain, K2 has one of the greatest death rates of any summit in the world, taking the lives of both experienced and inexperienced climbers. One must examine K2's harsh terrain, erratic weather, and the extreme mental and physical strain it places on climbers in order to comprehend why it is so lethal. 1. Verticality's height and brutality. With a height of 8,611 meters, K2 belongs to the exclusive group of 14 summits known as 8,000ers, which are higher than 8,000 meters above sea level. The world's tallest mountain, Everest, is better known, yet K2 is much more perilous due to its harsh and steep slopes. Climbers face constantly steep gradients and few places to rest or camp because the mountain lacks Everest's smooth ascents. Climbers must constantly overcome obstacles like jagged ridges, shaky ice fields, and intricate rock formations, which put their stamina and abilities to the test. The high altitude presents another difficulty. The human body starts to shut down at elevations beyond 8,000 meters, which is sometimes referred to as the death zone, since there is not enough oxygen present. The death zone on K2 is especially lethal because climbers spend a lot of time there, navigating challenging terrain with little chance of making a swift descent. Climbers must rely largely on their technical skills because K2 is still more wild and harsh than Everest, which has a fixed infrastructure of ropes and ladders on its normal routes. 2. Unpredictable and harsh weather conditions. One of the most deadly features of K2 is its weather. The weather, which is notoriously fierce and unpredictable, can change drastically in a matter of minutes, transforming a clear day into a blizzard. Snowstorms and strong winds, which can reach speeds of over 200 kilometers per hour, 124 miles per hour, are frequent, causing whiteout conditions that confuse climbers and raise the possibility of avalanches. On K2, temperatures can drop as low as -40 degrees Celsius or -40 degrees Fahrenheit, putting climbers at risk for hypothermia and perhaps fatal frostbite. The brief climbing season is what makes K2 even more dangerous. Only a few weeks in July or early August, when circumstances are slightly steadier, are the best times to try to reach the summit. Storms can still occur at any time during this time, trapping climbers in the death zone. After weeks of planning and waiting for a weather window that never came, many teams have been forced to do a U-turn. Even for the most seasoned climbers, K2 is a gamble due to its unpredictable weather. 3. A sobering death toll. The death rate of K2 emphasizes how deadly it is. In the past, one climber has perished while attempting to reach the top for every 4 who have done it. K2 is one of the world's deadliest mountains because of this startling ratio. In contrast, Everest has a significantly lower death rate because to its stronger infrastructure and more accessible routes, even if it is higher. Avalanches, falls, altitude sickness, and weather exposure are among the many causes of fatality on K2. The bottleneck, a tiny steep couloir immediately below the top, is one of the most notorious parts. Massive ice seracs that can suddenly collapse and hurl tons of ice tumbling down on climbers cast a shadow over this area. One of the scariest incidents in climbing history is still the 2008 K2 accident. A serac fell at the bottleneck, causing avalanches and blocking escape routes, killing 11 climbers from different groups in a single day. 4th, severe technical challenge. K2 is a test of technical climbing ability in addition to endurance. Its paths are treacherous, steep, and harsh. In contrast to Everest, where fixed ropes and ladders have been installed on popular routes by commercial expeditions, K2 does not provide such shortcuts. Without the assistance of pre-installed equipment, Climbers must negotiate unstable glaciers, ice slopes, and sheer rock cliffs. The Black Pyramid, a precipitous and angular rock formation at about 7,200 meters, is one of the most difficult parts. Another well-known landmark is House's Chimney, a steep rock wall that requires strength and accuracy to scale. Even the most seasoned mountaineers are put to the test in these parts, which call for a blend of technical proficiency, mental toughness, and physical fitness. The requirement to carry huge loads adds to K2's technical difficulties. Because there aren't any commercial expeditions, climbers must carry their equipment, food, and oxygen tanks up the mountain without the help of porters or Sherpas. The climb's already extreme physical effort is increased by this independence. 5. Remote location and inadequate infrastructure. Another element that increases K2's risk is its isolation. Situated far from civilization, the peak is part of the Karakoram Range. It takes many days to make the difficult trip across rocky terrain and isolated valleys to K2's base camp. Because of this distance, emergency rescues are practically impossible. Only specific locations may be reached by helicopter, and inclement weather frequently completely stops rescue efforts. Climbers who are ill or injured are frequently forced to descend alone or wait for help, which might never come. 6. Stress on the mind and body. Climbing K2 presents both a mental and physical challenge. Climbers must endure weeks of arduous ascent and acclimatization, which has a tremendous physical cost. The body is pushed to its limits by carrying enormous burdens, enduring extreme cold, and surviving on little oxygen. The ascent is considerably more taxing on the mind. A high level of tension is created by the ongoing threat of avalanches, falling ice, and abrupt weather changes. Climbers frequently have to make snap judgments that could determine their fate. 7. Triumphant and tragic tales. Stories of both amazing success and devastating tragedy abound in K2's history. Although it was a huge accomplishment, the first successful ascent in 1954 by an Italian team under the leadership of Ardito Desio came at a high cost, with climbers suffering from frostbite and near-death experiences. K2 still draws climbers from all over the world in spite of these risks. Its reputation as the pinnacle of skill and endurance is what draws many people in. A few people have managed to reach the top of K2, which is regarded as one of the greatest mountaineering accomplishments. In conclusion, beyond simply being a mountain, K2 represents humanity's unrelenting quest for the impossibly difficult. It is one of the most deadly challenges on Earth because of its extreme height, hazardous terrain, and erratic weather. However, it is precisely these risks that entice climbers to its slopes in an attempt to push them to the limit and become great. The risks are high, but the rewards are enormous for those who dare to face K2. Let us know in the comments what you think about the K2, the world's most deadly mountain to climb, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more captivating content on our YouTube channel.